Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. A very special episode today because, as I told you, I am here to tell you about my new online course which is called Fluency via Pronunciation and Storytelling. But first, before I tell you about this, I have a test for you, okay? I am going to say 5 words and I want you to listen and tell me if you understand. You have 2 choices. Number 1, you can write this sentence if you have a pen and paper. If not, just write it in your head. Okay? Are you ready? Yes? Brilliant. Okay, please write these 5 words I say now. Jamaica. Did you hear that? I'll say it again. Jamaica. And one more time. Jamaica. Now, did you understand that? If not, listen on and later I will tell you why you didn't understand this and how this is connected to pronunciation, which is obviously a big part of the course, along with storytelling, which, as you know, is one of my favourite things in the world. But pronunciation was, until quite recently, one of the things I hated the most. I was scared of it, all of those strange symbols. It scared me, so for many years of my life as an English teacher, I avoided it. And believe me, I am not the only one. Many of my colleagues, when I worked at a language school, did the same. They avoided pronunciation. Why? Because no one taught us how to teach pronunciation. Because to become a qualified English teacher, you need to do a specific course. It's a 1-month intensive course every day from 9 to 5. You complete that course and then you are qualified to teach English. So this is what most teachers do. But there's a problem. On that course, they do not teach the newly qualified teachers how to teach pronunciation. So the teachers don't teach it and the students don't learn it. The students, you. So very often students do not learn to make the correct muscle movement to make the sound. Instead, just take a similar one from their language and use it in English. Because it's obvious, if you've not been told how to make these muscle movements to make the sounds, how can you? And difficulty in listening, that's right, listening is a direct result of this, because no one has ever shown you how these messy sounds of English work. And when they are all pushed together to make sentences. If you hear words alone, that's quite nice, isn't it? It's quite easy. Think of it like this. When you hear a word alone, you often hear the dictionary sound of the word, which I like to compare as a perfect selfie for Instagram. When you put that selfie on Instagram, your hair is perfect, everything is perfect. That's like the pronunciation of a word. When you find it in the dictionary, you click play and it gives you the perfect pronunciation of that word. The problem is when that word is with other words, strange things happen. Sometimes you may hear it and it maybe sounds a little bit different. That would be the equivalent of seeing a picture of you where you don't look great, but people can still recognize you. And that's maybe the English you hear in many places, maybe even on this podcast, because when I speak, like when I give a presentation or something like that, I try to speak more clearly. But at the same time, sometimes my speech on this podcast can still be a little bit messy, but probably you're still able to recognize the words, let's say. This is the middle ground. But then there's that fast, connected speech, that messy, horrible stuff. And now this is the equivalent of seeing a picture of you and thinking, oh my God, I look like a monster. Please delete that picture now. And this is what I did at the beginning of the show when I asked you to transcribe those 5 words. Jamaica. Now, do you want the answer? what did I actually say? So let's have a look. I will give you the dictionary form of all of these words pronounced perfectly. Ready? Did you make her? That's what I said. Did you make her? That's the perfect selfie form, as we said, where we have the dictionary pronunciation of all of the words. But did you notice how I sounded like a robot? Did you make her? And that's obviously not the way people actually speak, because then there are many things of connected speech which come into play. And then we get Jamaica. But do you know why this happens? Jamaica. Why does it change from did you make her to Jamaica? Now, let me tell you. The first part of that, did you, becomes j, because when one word finishes with a D sound, a D, like did, and the next word starts with y, like you, it becomes j. Also, the H in her, did you make her, is cut. Then instead of it just becomes because these pronouns are almost impossible to hear in fast spoken English and often just become Now, I don't expect you to understand this concept perfectly after that very small and brief explanation. That was just a very small example. But on the course, we will work specifically on things like this, and I will give you specific exercises to practice, but not just listening, also practicing how to say these things, because remember, this is the important thing. If you can say it, you can hear it, because it's not actually necessary to speak like that. It's not necessary to say Jamaica. If you say, did you make her, that's absolutely fine. But showing you how to do this, how to make this sound, means a few things. Number one, it will be easier for those sounds to come out of your mouth with minimum effort. This is the thing about English. We like to speak with minimum effort. You will also sound more fluent and confident, not by arriving at Jamaica, but even if you said, for example, did Jamaica, you just sound a bit more fluent and a bit more confident. But most of all, you will be able to recognize these sounds, because I'll say it again, if you can say it, you can hear it. So on the course, I will give you all the tools to become more fluent and also understand more. And we will do this by looking at all of the sounds in English. There are 44 of them. We will identify the muscles in your mouth that you need to make these sounds. It will not just be say and repeat. I say, you say. No, we will look specifically at your muscles. I will give you feedback and say to you, for example, okay, you need to move your tongue back just a little bit more. But anyway, we will look at sounds to make words, sounds to make sentences. We will look at all of the features of connected speech. Then once we've done that, we are going to look at some poems. That's right, me, the person that hates poems, is going to use poems. But the reason is we're not going to look at what the writer means and if they're speaking about love or hate or any of that. It's just because poems highlight these areas of connected speech very, very well. And because the ones that I have chosen for the course are very memorable. So you will say them over and over again. It's kind of like a rhyme. So hopefully when you're in bed, you will be saying that rhyme over and over in your head and practicing, which will help you master the sounds. Then, after we've mastered the sounds, we're going to move to stories and use what we learn about pronunciation in storytelling, working again with rhythm, stress, intonation, looking at a few spontaneous storytelling techniques as well, which obviously will be helpful for you when you are speaking in any situation, because I will give you specific things of what to do when you're speaking and then you get a bit confused how to deal with that situation. I will then give you feedback on your story, and then when it's perfect, you'll tell it to the rest of the class. And I guarantee you, after you do that, you will feel like a rock star, a fucking rock star, because it will make you so much more confident in English. So confident you will feel like a rock star. And everything that we do in this course will obviously be useful to use English in every situation. You will be able to speak with more impact. You will be able to be clearly understood and just a better communicator in English. So at the end of this course, I 100% guarantee exactly that you will be a better communicator in English. If you have followed me and Rock and Roll English, you will know that I haven't done many of these online courses. In fact, I have only done 2 in the past. And I only did them once because I didn't feel the courses were good enough. I got lots of good feedback from the students, but I personally didn't think I was making enough of an impact. But now, this course, I am 100% sure that this is going to have a huge impact on you. I have worked so hard to make this course because, as I said, I hated pronunciation. But for the last year, I have read many books. In December last year, I did an online pronunciation course with Oxford. And then recently, as you know, I did a pronunciation and storytelling course in Cambridge with the magnificent Adrian Underhill, where I obviously learnt a lot and I will use many of the techniques that he taught me. But obviously, I'm my own person and it will be very much in a rock and roll English way, and I will adapt everything to make sure it follows the rock and roll English rule of nothing boring. So this time I plan on doing this course many times in the future. But at the moment it's still kind of an experiment, let's say, because this will be the first time I do it. And as you know, nothing can be perfect the first time you do it. So at the moment I am going to offer it for a very low price, but that will increase very quickly. In fact, at the moment, I haven't even decided the price because I'm still trying to understand the logistics of when I can do it. So I have created a form for you to simply register your interest, okay? The course will be 10 one-hour lessons. This is the plan. It might even be longer than that. So if you do the course now, I will guarantee a minimum of 10 lessons, but maybe I will think, oh shit, I actually need to make this course longer. And then obviously you will not pay for the extra lessons. So that is a huge advantage of doing it now. But like I said, I'm still trying to understand the logistics. I would actually like to do a 2-week intensive course at the beginning of September, if there are enough people. I imagine probably there will be about 6 people in a class. So if I can get 6 people to do the 2-week intensive course at the beginning of September, every day for 1 hour for 2 weeks, then great. But otherwise I plan on starting in mid-September and I will do the course 2 times a week. For example, Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. So your class would be 2 times a week for 5 weeks. But obviously for me, it's quite difficult to organise this with people from different countries. So go to rockandrollenglish.com/fluency, where there is a little bit more information and a form to complete, just to show interest, nothing more. There is nothing to pay or anything like that. Just a simple form that asks for your name, email address, and asks you some questions about what days and times you would be available. So yes, if you are interested in the course which I have just spoken about, go to rockandrollenglish.com/fluency, complete the very simple form, and hopefully I will see you soon. But obviously remember, if you have any questions, just let me know. Send me an email, contact me on social media, and I will be happy to answer them. So I will see you all very soon, people, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.